Welcome back. Coming to you, as you can see, from the Takeout Tavern, it's political panel time. Democratic strategist, former Biden advisor John McCarthy, Republican strategist, former Republican Senatorial Committee press secretary T.W. Arrighi. They're drinking beer. It's Guinness by request.
There we go.
And ladies and gentlemen, they have practiced this many times before.
One too many times.
And the conversation about politics. All right. I want to play for you sound from JD Vance, the vice president at the Nixon Library, talking about if Watergate broke today, how would it be covered journalistically today? Please listen.
As I joked with Robert backstage, if Watergate happened tomorrow, it would be like a 12-hour news story. Like, the idea that it would have taken down a presidency is crazy. And by the way, if you look at the story of how the deep state took down Richard Nixon, it's not all that different from what the same groups of people, the same institutions tried to do to Donald Trump in the first Trump administration.
It would not be a 12-hour story, Mr. Vice President. It just wouldn't. And remember, it was the Nixon administration that used the tools of the state to surveil Americans as part of a deeper scheme around the Watergate break-in that led to the end of his presidency. And it was ended not by Democrats, but by Republicans in the Senate. Just to put that on the record. John, your reaction?
I mean, we've heard those stories over the last few weeks of the vice president down in the Situation Room talking about different cover-ups. So he's clearly very comfortable in the era of coming up with political distractions. But the vice president's political stock is going down week after week. And I think it's because of episodes like this that's the reason why.
TW?
I am all for a reexamination of Richard Nixon's presidency as a whole.
I'm
which
for
I
that.
definitely
I agree with you.
Is vastly underrated.
It's, by the way, it's hard to take away the resignation part.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
totally,
but
yes.
Over the 6 years, much was achieved.
I'm sort of reminded by Bill Murray, who said on Joe Rogan that he now doubts the whole Nixon story because of some of what he's learned down the line about Bob Woodward's reporting, but I don't like to get into that. What I would like to say is this. JD Vance made a broader point during that whole thing, where she talked about the coalition that Nixon won with during his major landslide victory, compared to
starting
that of
in '68
Reagan.
and then expanding dramatically in '72.
Yeah, and I think that is really what should be talked about the most, because I do think Richard Nixon really appealed to a lot of people. It was the beginning of the realignment in the South. Exactly.
It was the first breakage of the Democratic control of the South.
And we talk about Reagan's massive landslide victory where he lost one state, but Richard Nixon did that too.
So I also want to play you some sound from Chris Van Hollen, Democratic senator from Maryland, who's surprising some people, saying he wants to kick the tires of a presidential campaign. We'll see how far that goes. But interestingly, in that general conversation, he said this about Abdul El-Sayed, who is the progressive Democratic candidate in the Michigan Democratic Senate primary. Listen.
We need fighters in the Senate who want to dismantle a broken status quo that is not working for the American people. We need senators who are willing to rid our democracy of a corrupt system where big money special interests rig our economy and our politics in favor of the billionaires at the expense of everyone else.
So this is a part of a conversation that is rippling through the Democratic Party, rippled pretty loudly through the New York primaries on Tuesday. And this Michigan Senate primary is going to be an interesting weather vane.
Yeah, I mean, the Michigan Senate primary is certainly going to be the test of, are we really going to be moving further left as a party? I would argue that people are kind of overreading into the New York primary results. New York getting bluer is not really a big surprise. Michigan will be an interesting test, but I actually think that this story is more about 2028 than it is about Michigan. There's going to be like 30 people who run for the Democratic nomination.
If Chris Van Hollen,
and it's for the best, like that's
he would not be on anyone's list in this city or in any other big city among Democratic donors of, hey, I should. What about Chris Van Hollen? But he's inserting himself willingly into that conversation.
And that's why he's doing something like this. I think you're going to see some of these candidates who might not be the first top 5 names you think of start taking political risks like this to try and figure out if they can piece together some kind of a coalition.
Assuming
it's what they need to do.
That a risk on the progressive left side is the place to be.
It could be a lane. I mean, every single candidate's going to have to define a lane for themselves, and I think the senator's going to try and see if this one's his.
TW, have a sip and give me your sense.
Okay, one.
Beautiful.
I think it is a massive, massive risk. Not only because I don't know if the votes are there to actually build that coalition out, but secondly, it's a massive risk because you're aligning yourself with viewpoints that no American, right, left, or center agrees with.
Such as?
So Syed had said he's not really sure Israel has the right to exist. You say the candidates in New York don't matter. Well, taken collectively, they want to abolish prisons, abolish borders. They were waving Hamas flags the day after the October 7th attacks. I mean, how have we gotten to a place where candidates wanting to seek the presidency or higher office are comfortable aligning themselves with that? I remember in 2010, we got in trouble because of social policy that was far to the right of where our base was.
As part of the Tea Party movement, right.
And those positions are non-starters for any of the places Democrats actually need to win. If you're looking at swing districts, I mean, those are just political killers.
You too. We're going to go to a commercial break. You keep drinking.
There we go.
Keep working those muscles.
There we go.
John McCarthy, TW. Arrighi, we'll be right back. Stay with us.